So you obviously produce, write, and star in The Reckoning. What drew you to this film, and what was an inspiration for the piece?
A friend of mine gave me that novel, The Guide de Maupassant, Pierre et Jean, it was called, and it was written in 1888. And, there was this nugget of this idea in there. And the nugget is that these are two brothers. There's quite a bit of age difference, perhaps 7 or 8 years. Knock on the door one day, and a large inheritance arrives for the younger brother. The parents are alive, and I'm messed with the thing a little bit, but ostensibly in that film, you have the older brother spending his time, and he's not outward about it, but he's trying to figure out why would it be that this, and it turns out it's a very wealthy man who's passed away from Paris that the mom knew years ago. The parents both knew. And why is the younger brother getting this here? Why not me? And he's not being selfish about it. It literally just starts sort of earnestly. And then in his background checking and following, and of course the father isn't even interested in pursuing it because he's just happy there's money in the family all of a sudden. They were quite blue collar. Do you know the book?
No, I'm not familiar with it, but I've heard good things.
So anyways, it was sort of this fascinating thing that gripped my imagination for a second, and I thought, I wonder if I could update that. And I have a brother, and then just to really get long-winded about it, but my uncle, who's now in his early 70s, he married his high school sweetheart, and 20 years later, she had a brain aneurysm. So all of this stuff I know, like, more than I'd like to know.
So it's almost like you've had a first-hand experience and you've put that into this project. So it feels almost really personal.
Yes, there's a very big autobiographical part to this film. And I don't really, tout it around, but I have said it at the Odd Festival, and it did inform the thing quite a bit.
So would you be happy for me to put that into?
Of course,
yeah? Okay,
of course.
Wonderful. And how did you find the balance between your different roles? You mentioned earlier in the pre-screen, you went almost from the writing stage into producing. I mean, was there any...
To be honest, that's, and the baby has something to say about this.
Yes, that's fine.
To be honest, that's the best part of being the writer once you're shooting. If we see something that's causing us a problem, if it's like we're not going to get to that today, then it's my job to try and get the same sense of it, without spending the money or spending the time or whatever. Like, writers get very lazy. After 30 years working in Hollywood, I can tell you that, like, people get attached to ideas. They get precious about ideas.
Yes.
And I'm not precious about ideas.
Okay.
In fact, to me, it's a challenge. It's like, well, if that isn't working, or if I don't have the money to do that, how can I make the audience feel what I want them to feel?
Yes.
By doing it a different way.
So that effectively is more of it's a pro for you to have that experience
100%.
of coming from that writing experience. It's not like you're producing someone else's work and then trying to interpret it on set.
Exactly. So I can take a knife to something and
that's
it's
wonderful.
gone.
Okay, fantastic.
It's really efficient, put it that way.
Yeah, but that's the best way to be, right? Many hats and all of that. And obviously you mentioned before the screening production was 18 days with 18 people.
Yes.
Were there any challenges alongside of that?
A lot of challenges. The bore was a challenge.
Yeah.
We're in France, so literally about a week before we were shooting, up until then, the producer, the English producer that lives in France, she was one of our, really our fixer over there. She had a hunting society, and they were ready to kill a boar.
Ooh, okay.
Because they run rampant over there, and they're only too happy to kill these things. They're nuisances, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, wait a minute. Okay, so shit, we're going to kill this thing. How do we know? Like, what are we going to freeze it? Like, is there going to be flies all over it? I'm like holding this thing. It's bloody. Like, and so, that was kind of an idiotic challenge. But these things come up where you just got to make decisions really quickly. And back to Alex Breaux, the director, for a second. One of his great skills was being decisive. And I think another thing you've got to have if you're a great director is you have to be meticulous, detail-oriented. And you have to be decisive. If you're not decisive, you're in trouble. Honestly, being decisive beats talent.
Okay.
It can really beat talent.
And it's the clues in the title, right? If you cannot direct your vision, then
It's
nothing will get
communication.
finished.
Yeah, it's communication.
Okay.
So, apart from, and then there was no heat. That was a temporary thing. We were all, it was like film camp. We have such a good rapport. The crew,
Wonderful. Okay.
we're all pretty good friends and have worked a bunch together. So, we're going to take our hardships and just, chew them up and spit them out.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So as far as like that, it's just that first 3 or 4 days, and it's the same with every movie I've been on. You got to get through that, get your rhythm, get your sea legs,
and get your surroundings right, because you're all based at the same property as was mentioned before as well. So that's.
But no, it was really without too many big hitches, which is.
That's good. That's good to hear. Wonderful. And what did you enjoy most about working on this film?
Well, the first film in the Arctic, it was in the Arctic, so it was like very cold, and we were reckless, we were foolish almost. We were so naive to the things that we would encounter. Even though I'd been in the business for 20 years, I'd never produced a film, or one that I'd written, no less. And this time the best thing about it was I was present. I was able to be in the moment and enjoy the crew, and we'd have these lunches. You sit down. The French are so great at the catering. I mean, the amount of money we paid for catering, we would have gotten hot dogs in America. But the French, they're so proud. So it's
charcuterie and beautiful cured meats and cheeses and
And there was something personal made, either some sort of flan or something, or every meal had this, and we would always sit down and enjoy the meal together. So those are the kind of things that are logged into my memory.
Wonderful.
More so than the product almost. It's the time, and I'm glad that I was a little more sort of seasoned and able to enjoy that as it happened.
And I think part of that as well is as you say, having the benefit of working with people you've worked with before. That community feel is already here. You're already familiar with how each other works, and on a personal level as well. That makes it a more enjoyable experience.
Very much.
Wonderful. And if you were to pair this with another film of your choosing, if you had a double feature and you wanted to choose something, what would you pick? What would you recommend?
Well, so that I guess the programming thing is always whether you totally counter program it or whether you put it in with something that's
let's do one of each. Let's do something the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and let's do something that would be a personal choice. That if you're a consumer coming into this film, what would you ideally want to view it with?
Well, I always thought that we were kind of shooting at, and we'll never hit this mark because it's so stratospherically high, but I always felt that we were shooting at a thing like The Shining.
Yeah, because I got that overlooked vibe from in a very different.
Because you're in this one place, it's a relatively small cast of characters, and there's just shifts going on. Now, we don't have those horror elements perhaps as much.
I mean, the last few minutes were pretty visceral.
No question, and we wanted that, and you've got to have that to sell the film. Because the trailer, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but
I came in blind to this whole festival, which is wonderful.
Well, if you get a look at the trailer, it'll really pump up those sort of those scare moments. But so The Shining was something that I'd love to flatter ourselves by saying yes. Oh my God, if we could. Get those kind of because I think that audience would also get our film. The counter programming, I mean, you're not going to go like short of a comedy or some sort of silly thing like this. Like, I always liked these kind of films that bend your imagination and bend your sense of what's real and what's not. Okay. So a film that I recently rewatched, and I'm using it as an inspiration for this sequel that I'm writing to Arctic Void that we're shooting in Indonesia, is Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, I love that film.
And it has so many. Oh God, it's so layered and so well thought out. See, what I can't stand, and it's not because I'm some sort of high and mighty, superior thinking audience member or filmmaker. I can't stand when I poke holes as just a layman. I'm saying, well, wait a minute, what happened? Like, so my job when I write, my treatments are almost the scripts. Like my treatments are super dense. They're like 20 plus pages. They beat out, they even have lines, like dialogue lines. It's just a stream of consciousness thing, but they're so full of stuff because I like to overthink it.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to lose when you overthink this
Yes.
art
Yes.
form to begin with.
Yeah.
It's the old measure twice, cut once thing that carpenters talk about. You know?
Absolutely. And I also think to that effect that it gives films more watchability. If they are so layered, every time you watch it, you find new meaning in it. You find something you may have missed the first time. That's wonderful. Yeah. Okay. And for your future, what are you working on at the moment? You mentioned a sequel.
Yeah.
Currently working on.
Well, that Arctic Void film, and believe me, it's not for everyone. It has a very divisive ending. I personally like endings that are not. You know, I like messy stuff, man. I mean, because we're not, loose ends don't get tied up in life a lot.
And not everything needs to be explained.
Right. And that's the thing, we've dumbed down our audiences so badly. American storytelling a lot. It's not just American, it's unfortunately getting around the world now, where we just lead the audience around by the nose. Oh, we're going to tell a little story about this.
Yes.
Oh, move this. Oh, move that.
Yeah.
You've got to get in there. And did you see when he did that? That means the blah, blah, blah. It's just too much, you know,
Yeah.
and so allow the imagination of the audience to play a part. So anyways, this Arctic Void is a film we made for Sandwich in the Arctic, and it ended up getting found, picked by the New York Times. This is like a year after it came out, and it went top 10 on Prime in 17 different countries. So it was like 140 days on the top 10 list on Prime. It was ahead of Creed, Top Gun.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
it's just mind-blowing. Number 4 in the States, number 2 in Spain for a month. Anyway, so it's now warranted a sequel, and I'm so happy because now I don't have to, like, because I raise the money for all these films. I put my own money in, and I raise the money because I think, you know, unless you got skin in the game, people aren't going to invest. But this one, I think we'll get institutional money.
Okay.
And we have Agnes Mo attached. Agnes is a giant Indonesian star, and she's just coming out she's one of the leads in the new season of Reach.
Okay.
And Agnes has 32 million Instagram followers.
I
She's
mean,
a
that
huge
in itself will bring eyes. Yes, of course.
Right. So we're going slightly different route, but we're using the same business model. So in other words, it won't be millions and millions of dollars. We're still keeping it tight. Probably 20 people in 20 days this time. But we're giving people ownership of the film.
That's wonderful.
And so, in any event, I'm writing that script right now, and it'll be shot in Indonesia, and just an amazing country by the looks of it. I haven't been there yet, but the director of that film has been dozens of times and loves it. And so that's really what I'm working on. And then acting-wise, I'm in a season-long arc. There's a show called The Boys.
Yes, I know it.
Yeah.
A
Well,
little bit familiar.
yeah, right. It's huge, apparently.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, maybe.
Well, I don't watch it. My daughter does, but in any event, they have a prequel.
Yes, Gen V. Yes, I'm aware.
No, not Gen
Oh,
V.
the newer
Gen V.
one.
Yeah, so this one's called Vought Rising.
Oh, you're in Film Rising.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting.
So
Can you tell me anything?
I'm signed in.
NDA, I figured.
I'm
Okay.
probably just, yeah. So anyways, bottom line is, you blink and you miss me, but it's a great.
We know you're there. I'll
yeah,
be keeping
yeah.
an eye now.
It's a great part, and it was a fun job, and so yeah, just doing that for acting.
Wonderful.